How's it going, everyone? It's Avi from Weather Spawn Draft. Today is November 7th, 2021, and today we're going to focus on the next potential major snowstorm that could impact a lot of the Midwest as well as potentially the interior Northeast later this week. But before I begin, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather-related content. Make sure to like if you like this video, and make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather-related content. So let's begin by taking a look at the current GFS model as of right now. So if we were to take a look at what's happening, we of course have this storm that's currently hovering along the southeast coast, but this is expected to move further eastward and not be much of a threat in the long-term future. And if we were to continue to move forward, we're going to keep track of this next trough that's going to come off the Pacific Northwest. That's going to be quite potent and potent enough to move through the Rocky Mountain ranges. And then we're going to see a little bit of an unstable environment throughout the Midwest that'll help induce more convection around this trough and rapidly intensify it as this heads into the Midwest, where we're going to see the snowfall rates a lot higher than what they were right around the Pacific Northwest. And if we were to continue to move forward, you're going to see that there's going to be a lot of snow associated with this trough in the Pacific Northwest. And then as this moves eastward, we're going to see a little bit of a jet stream dip where we're going to see a strong northwesterly flow that's going to force the warm air to interact with a very cool Canadian air on the lee side of the Rocky Mountain ranges, and that's going to create an unstable environment for this low pressure system to gradually intensify. If we were to continue to move forward, you see that the low pressure begins right around 1,007 millibars, but then it rapidly intensifies down to a 985 millibar low pressure system by the Wednesday time frame, or Wednesday to Thursday time frame. And you see that associated with this low pressure system, we see very high snowfall rates, where we're seeing the darker shades of blue, which represents very high snowfall rates, and that could create our next major snowstorm throughout the northern Midwest states. And this could potentially impact the Northeast as well in the future, more specifically the interior Northeast, where you could experience lake effect snow associated with this low pressure system. Because if we were to continue to move forward, this storm will weaken as it heads further eastward once the instability gets a little weaker around this storm, as this low pressure system sort of diverges away from this jet stream dip, which will create a less favorable environment for this storm to continue strengthening. So it will weaken a little bit, but we're still going to see snow showers associated with this as it heads further eastward, and we could see snow in some interior portions of the Northeast as well as Michigan, more specifically in the form of lake effect snow, and that could dump a lot of snow throughout the Northeast as well as the northern Midwest states for this week. So you might be wondering, what are the chances of this snowstorm happening? Well, I'm gonna say for the northern Midwest states, I will say that you guys will more likely than not experience at least some sort of snowstorm or snowfall from this. The question is how much snowfall exactly, and where exactly the highest snowfall totals will land, as that still remains to be seen, where exactly the low pressure system will be located to determine where the worst of the snow will be. If we were to compare this to what the European model is stating at this point, you see that at around the Friday time frame, the GFS model wants to take a 985 millibar storm right around the northern portion of Wisconsin into Minnesota. But if we were to compare it to what the European model is stating at this point, right around the 120-hour mark, you see they're very similar when it comes to where exactly they are, right around the 120-hour mark. But the forecast gap definitely diverges right around the right after 120 hours from now, because while the GFS model wants to take while the GFS model sort of wants to take this storm further northward and majority of the moisture further northward, the European model still wants to keep a low pressure system right here to bring the snow showers further southward. Comparing the GFS model beyond the 120 hour mark, you're going to see that the GFS model doesn't want to keep a low pressure system closer further southward, which would mean that more of the snow would be focused in on the northern states rather than the southern states. And what I also find interesting is that the GFS model doesn't want to take snow as heavy as a European model. If we were to take a look at that again, you're going to see you're going to see that the snowfall for the European model is heavier, but the European model is expecting a little bit more rain to entrain Minnesota further northward, and that would definitely limit the amount of snowfall in a lot of areas for a lot of the northern Midwest states. So that's suddenly something we need to keep in mind as well, is how far north will this warm air go, or how far north will this low pressure system go, because that'll be a big determinant in how much snow you receive. Because if we experience a lot of mixing with rain in northern Minnesota, then the snowfall should be limited for the most part. But the GFS model completely disagrees with the European model, as it wants to take the rain snow line far less southward, as you could see in this graphic, where the low pressure system is a little bit more southward. So the convergent energy right around the low pressure system isn't really heating up Minnesota, which would mean that more snow, precipitation more in the form of snow would occur in Minnesota. So these are questions we definitely need to pay close attention to. It really all depends on the orientation of this ridge right over here, because if the ridge is a little bit stronger, it'll force the low pressure system more northward, and that would mean more of a rain event throughout Minnesota. But if this ridge was a little bit weaker, then we might see a scenario where the low pressure system is further southward, and precipitation will fall in the form of snow more than as opposed to rain in the northern Midwest states. So we just have to wait and see. That will be a really big determinant in how much snow we receive, where exactly this will go, because that'll determine where the rain snow line will be, and it will really determine how much snow you receive in each specific location. So we need to keep a close eye on this. If you were to take a look at the snowfall forecast provided by the European model and the GFS model, in this case, you're going to see that the GFS model is forecasting far more snow than the European model, and it's pretty much the exact reason I've been stating. It's because the GFS model wants to take less rain to northern Minnesota as opposed to the European model. So in recent history, the GFS model has been a little bit more reliable so far this year, so we might need to put a little bit more weight on that. But if the GFS model were correct, you'd see that Minnesota would experience close to, if not over 2 feet of snow, which would be just an extremely significant snowstorm at that point. And we see a large area of northern Minnesota experiencing well over a foot of snow, which would be a very significant snowstorm. And if we were to include the big cities, Minneapolis would be involved in right around 5 to 8 inches of snow. You see Fargo could be very close to the a foot of snow range, and you see a lot of Northern Dakota is involved, Wisconsin is involved, and even Michigan is involved with a little bit more snow, where we're seeing readings of right around 5 to 8 inches. And this extends to the Great Lakes of the interior Northeast, where we're seeing close to a lot more lake effect snow associated with the GFS model's forecast. But it's a pretty stark contrast when we take a look at the European model, because if we were to take a look at the European model, you see the European model isn't expecting as much snow in the northern Midwest, and it's as a result of the rain snow line being a little bit more northward. And we do see areas where the European model wants to take over a foot of snow, but it's far less it's far less, the area is far less than what the GFS model wants to take it. And you see that the lake effect snow is a lot more limited in the European model's case, where the interior Northeast and even Michigan aren't experiencing much snow at all. And they're only experiencing right around an inch of lake effect snow. And this could be due to a variety of reasons. The European model might be taking a little bit of a weaker storm in the future. If we were to compare the two right now, you're going to see that the European model, if we were to move forward with the European model's case, it sort of expects this storm to not be very strong in the future, because you see that by the right around 144 hours from now, 6 days from now, the low pressure system that brought heavy snow to the northern Midwest states is now a lot weaker than what the GFS model is forecasting. And of course, when the storm is weaker, that means the winds are weaker as well, associated with this low pressure system. So there's less of a strong northerly flow to induce a lot of lake effect snow. Compare that to the GFS model, where the storm is a lot stronger, right around the 144 hour mark. If we were to compare the two, you see that the GFS model is taking this, it wants to re-strengthen it right around the 6 to 7 day mark down to 990, which is a stark contrast from what the European model is saying. And that means there's more of a strong northwesterly flow for lake effect snow to occur. So all in all, we just need to wait and see what happens. What really will determine the snowfall in the Northeast is how strong this storm will be right around the 6 to 7 day mark, see how much instability it'll encounter. And what will really determine how much snow we receive in the northern Midwest states is where exactly that rain snow line will outline, and that will be based on where exactly a slow pressure system will form. The GFS model has been a little bit more correct as of recently, but we still need to take the European model into consideration as well, because it's also been a very reliable model over the past several years. So we can't completely disregard it either. But I'd say at this point, it's more likely than not the northern Midwest will experience some sort of snowstorm, because both the GFS model and the European model are taking at least a decent amount of snow to the northern Midwest states, even though the exact specific numbers are different and the exact location of where the highest snow totals will outline are completely different. Yeah, we just need to wait and see. But it seems like the northern Midwest states will experience the most snowfall, and we could see a potentially significant lake effect snow event if the GFS model is correct. So we just need to wait and see. I'll update you guys once we get more confidence with the forecast. But I will say that the northern Midwest states and the Northeast needs to stay on high alert at this point, since there is a good possibility you will experience a major snowstorm. Where you could experience up to 2 feet. And again, like I said in my previous video, the warmer Great Lakes than average are the water temperatures in the Great Lakes that are warmer than average certainly will help lake effect snow occur, because there's going to be more instability. So if there were to be a stronger northwesterly flow with cooler air, then that would definitely enhance the chance of lake effect snow as a result of the warmer than average water temperatures along Great Lakes, since that'll enhance the instability and as a result the convection for lake effect snow to occur. So that's definitely something we need to take into consideration as well, that if a lake effect snow event were to occur, it might be more significant than what you're used to along the Great Lakes region. And another thing we need to take a look at is Arctic oscillation, because that also determines what type of weather patterns weather patterns will experience, whether we'll experience a major jet stream dip where we experience cooler than average conditions, or less pronounced jet stream dips where we experience warmer than average conditions. And you see that the forecast is we're expected to go down closer to the negative phase, which kind of coincides of what's going to happen next week, where we're going to experience a jet stream dip and cooler than average air for this snowstorm to occur. So the Arctic oscillation headed towards the negative phase definitely will show that we're now gonna enter more cooler than average conditions in the future, which would help the chance of a major snowstorm throughout the Midwest and the northern United States in general. Now, taking a look at my forecasts, keep in mind it's just my speculation, and I'm not going to give specific numbers just yet because we're still a little bit too far out for me to give specific numbers with confidence. So I'm going to use more vague terms to give you guys a good idea of where the heaviest snow will be. I won't give specific numbers of how much snow you should receive. Just know where if you're in the heaviest snow range, that's where you're most likely to receive snow from this storm. If you're in the heavier snow range, that's where you're pretty likely to receive snow, but it's not it's still uncertain. And moderate snow, it becomes definitely more uncertain whether or not you'll experience snow from this. But you see that I'm forecasting a large area of moderate snow, which includes Des Moines, Minneapolis, Green Bay, Wisconsin, and even more cities such as Rapid City, South Dakota, where I'm expecting a pretty large area of moderate snow. I think there is still that possibility you won't experience any snow from this, but there is still that good possibility you could receive a moderate type snowstorm where you could receive potentially 2 to 4 inches or potentially more depending on the track of the snow pressure system. Just note that I'm expecting heavier snow, and the heaviest snow should be in right around Minnesota, the northern portion of Minnesota, as well as North Dakota, where the possibility of rain shouldn't be much of an issue, as most likely it will be an all snow event for you guys. So I'd expect the heaviest snow to be in this region, but it's still uncertain. This could easily change over the next several days, but I'll make sure to update you guys once we do see changes in the forecast models. But yeah, guys, I guess that's it for this video. I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see more weather related content. Make sure to like if you like this video. Make sure to turn on post notifications if you want to see even more weather related content. I hope you guys have a good day.